Right, Stevie, I'm filled with a sense of deja vu. 10 days ago, a team from Edinburgh came to Celtic Park, took the lead. We came back, we finished the game with Haksabanovic cutting on his right foot and curling it into the far corner to win 3-1. And it's happened again today.
Indeed, although I don't think, hello everyone by the way, but I don't think after this game a manager was greeting and wailing about Celtic winning undeservedly or anything. So, well, didn't I say that? But I don't know what Lee Johnson's actually said yet. I'm just assuming.
That may age terribly. He was certainly very frustrated when they got a red card. Listen, we're going to come on and chat all of this. Hello, by the way. I've not even said hello yet. Celtic have won another game, 3-1 this afternoon against Hibernian. Stevie is back on the channel from Celtic Park, where it's not raining anymore. That's the wee weather report. It has been raining. Horrible afternoon, Stevie.
Awful, just awful. And my attire has a lot to be desired, thinking I'll get away with this because it's waterproof and all that, and the players run about in it, but the players being players are fit and athletic, and I'm quite the opposite, just sitting eating a pie and getting freezing in this. So I wish I had a big jacket like yours, Hamish. But that's what it ends. I don't wish I had any more of your attire or that.
Riveting conversation, mate. I think
Great
people
stuff,
hope we move on and chat about the game. Before that, the lineup came out, and before that, yesterday we found out team news. Aaron Moy, Tomoki Iwata ruled out of today's game. There'd been a lot of chat over the last week about Greg Taylor's fitness, Cameron Carter-Vickers' fitness. Obviously Starfelt went off at half time last week at Tynecastle. I think Maida hadn't played for us in that game either. All of those players started. So what were the big talking points for the team?
I think it was with Starfelt coming right back in. Now, when you look at the fact that you look at CCV and Starfelt, last season, this season, the reason that we are where we are is down to the two. But I think Kobayashi had such a good game last week when he came on in the second half. I was expecting him to get more of a run in the team. And I thought Starfelt, just with the fact that he was called up for the Sweden team as well, and then the Nationals, it's just ahead. I think Kobayashi was going to get a wee run. Especially because he hasn't been featuring a lot. Because it was at Celtic Park, we're going to have the bulk of the possession as well. I expected him, but no, Starfelt was in, and I guess we'll come on to him later. Really happy to see Maida starting though. Big boost for that, because I just think when Maida's starting at Celtic Park, we're a far better side. And I know Haksabanovic, people were clamouring for him, and he got his start last weekend as well. But you do notice that we get more of an outlet when Maida plays, and I was far happier to see him starting today.
Are you slagging off Haksabanovic?
I'm not slagging him, I'm really happy.
Slagging off Haksabanovic.
Great impact player, and I think just for now, I think Maida's a deserved start in that respect. But I was obviously, I knew with Aaron Moy being out, it was a sore one, because you're thinking that was a game made for Tomoki Iwata as well. Just so unfortunate with the time when he has injury too. But still, with that midfield, should have been good enough to get a result today.
Yeah, so we started the game. First thing I've got written down is Hatate injured. I don't know how many minutes, probably 10, something like that.
11. Specifically, it felt like it was 11
I thought
minutes.
There was some sort of joke there. Hatate goes off. It looked like a muscular injury of some sort. All that chat about him not getting in the Japan squad, and it kind of seems like he maybe wouldn't have been going away anyway if he'd have got in it. It's funny how things work out. I guess we've got an international break-up, so hopefully we'll wait and see what the prognosis is there, but hopefully he should be back, when we return. But him going off was, a bit of a blow. Listen, he's a guy who can make Celtic tick. So, I mean, were you concerned at that stage when he goes off? Talk us through your concern this afternoon. When did it reach its peak?
Probably half time, 1-0 down. Me and Hamish are in a group chat, and at 1-0 down, and obviously the fact that we were 6 points ahead, because you knew Rangers were going to win at Motherwell anyway, and the fact that David Marshall was pulling off some great saves.
3 or 4.
So my concern, and Hatate going off was one. I think bringing in a player like Turnbull, who need disrespect to him, but he's just nowhere near the level of Hatate quality wise. So at half time, I took the decision to work myself into that much of a frenzy about all this.
Like you.
That I removed myself from the group chat with Hamish and the guys, which was a great laugh. I'm sure we'll come back and laugh about it at some point in the season, but honestly,
I'm laughing right now.
Thanks for that. Hatate get off is a sole one. I mean, he is our best player, the best football player in the country, and when you've got a guy like him missing, you really notice it. And it's like, there's all this conversation about who is Celtic's player of the season. When CCV goes off, you notice that as well. We're nowhere near as solid at the back. Kyogo, we can sometimes get away. You look at when he went off against St Mirren, we got a result without him, and Maeda went through the middle. But Hatate, there's just no one like him, the way that he can link all aspects of the play. He's just so comfortable in the ball, out of possession. He's always available for a player as well, and you just don't get that with some other midfielders at all. So him getting off was a gutter, and it was a real blow.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the flip side of that is a big opportunity for David Turnbull. He really hasn't had an opportunity. I don't think he'd featured in any of our recent matches. I think if Moy, Hatate, and Tomoki Iwata. No idea why I said Tomoki Iwata's full name there, but if those three had been available, I don't think Turnbull, I don't think he will be seeing much game time at the moment, so a big opportunity for him. How did you think, generally jumping forward, he got on?
First half, I was, it wasn't just him I was singling out, but he was awful in that first half, I felt. But not just him, Celtic in general just struggled at times, didn't they? But then came on again in the second half. I think that was just getting the goal when we did was so crucial, it really was. And for all that I've said that, the quality the quality Hatate's got, that he struggles to replicate that. I mean, what a ball in it was for O. The set piece was perfect, and it was excellently met by O. So all in all,
it's a big contribution for Turnbull setting a goal. Let's go back. I mean, so you get the red card first. I've not seen this again. I was shouting for a red card. I actually thought there was one that Ewan had earlier in Starfelt that I think he kind of slipped, but I thought that looked a bit awkward as well. But for me, it looked like a red card. I have seen people saying online that they maybe felt it was a little bit harsh. I mean, you have kind of seen a gif, I believe.
Half time I saw a terrible gif. Celtic Park signal. It's all like 1980.
Not if you get 5G.
Sorry, we're not all privileged YouTubers like yourself getting all that treatment. No, but it was like the blocky 1980s fucking grainy I saw of it, and it did look harsh, if I'm being honest.
Right.
It looked
was
harsh.
It high foot? Was CCV?
I don't think it was, no. Again, that's just maybe down to the testament. I don't want to whip the phone out and just show you and try and find it now.
Right, okay.
But from what I did see the GIF, it did look pretty harsh, unless, I have to go back and have a look at it again or something after this.
Lee Johnson certainly felt it was harsh. He was raging. He get, I think, booked later on
he's chucking the ball in the park.
I think he either kicked or chucked the ball back onto the park. Ange, I think, at that stage started clapping, and then the referee came over to book someone. And do you see what Johnson did?
What?
He turned around to the bench behind him and pointed at somewhere else. Total Lee Wallace grass behaviour. But he wasn't happy about that red card. But then, at that stage, I think we're all feeling pretty good about our chances. Hibs down to 10 men. I think, I can't remember at what stage this happened in relation to that, but certainly, Starfelt had a sitter. Kyogo had one when he, I think, ended up chesting it, and Marshall made a good save. There was another few chances as well. I think, 11v11, I certainly felt very confident. Celtic, I thought, started the game really well. Taylor, Maeda looked really good on that left-hand side. I thought Maeda, had a really good game. But then out of nowhere, we get a penalty for Hibernian. Again, have you seen this? I've not even seen the incident again. Again, it is difficult to get footage when you're at the game, but I have seen a tweet with loads of replies saying Stonewall are 100%. So I'm going to believe all those people and say that it should have been a penalty given by VAR.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but it turns out social media here can be criticised because that app, shall we say.
Yeah.
A lot of people had seen on Twitter at half time were saying it was a definite Stonewaller, and there's some people that I follow have got no reason to think that they're going to be lying or exaggerating, so I will trust them in that one and say fair enough, they got that decision right.
So after that we're behind, but we've got an extra man.
8 minutes injury time as well.
A lot of injury time. I mean, I was thinking maybe 4 or 5, but to get 8 and then 7 in the second half was like a throwback to the World Cup. Felt as if the crowd, and I may be talking about Stevie here, everyone, we're just getting a little bit kind of worked up. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do this. So tell us why at that stage you were getting so worried. Was it the Hibs time wasting? Was it the fact that, as we say, Hatate wasn't on the park? Was it something else?
Hatate not being on the park for a start, them getting a penalty, the fact that, we've got this, that's now, what is that, 15 wins in a row at Celtic Park? I think it's 15 out of 15.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I think it is 15 out of 15 actually, and you're just thinking, at one point some team, this is just in my head, I can't speak for the 60,000 in there as well, but in my head I'm always just thinking another team is at one point going to get a luck and things aren't going to go away, and we're going to get some kind of freak result against us.
Did you not feel... I mean, this is the third league game in a row we've gone behind. St Mirren, we've won 5-1.
Hearts, we won 3-1. I just remember we were on some streak at Celtic Park before under O'Neill, and a terrible Aberdeen team beat us like 2-1 out of nothing, and all that. So that's where these things all came into my head. And honestly, I know it sounds daft, but I just get worrying, I get antsy and all that. I don't expect us to be blowing teams away. I don't expect us to just be gifted 3 points every week. It's not how it works. We have to work hard every time, and I don't ever come on this channel and say to you, never before a game do I ever say 4-5-0 and all that. I always say we have to work really hard to win, because teams see it as their absolute mission to get a result against us. It's a huge one for them as well. So that was it, just the way that first half was going, not having the creativity of Hatate, his replacement, in Turnbull, just not being the same quality wise, and David Marshall making some really good saves, and just all that time wasting and everything. Just seemed like things were going against us.
Okay, I mean, at half time I felt relatively calm for some reason. I think it's the fact that we have come back in games recently. Actually, as my pals who I was at the game with will verify and testify, 3-1 I said at half time. I said we'd come back and win 3-1, and we did. Second half, very similar to the St Mirren game for me. It was important that we got that goal early. Something shocking happened. We got a penalty.
And it wasn't VAR, that was a straight penalty, wasn't it?
It was a straight penalty. So I thought we had a good call for it, or certainly an interesting one right before that.
Handball?
I think it hit the guy's head, but it went to a quick VAR check, probably about 0.4 of a second. Ref pointed his head, we took the corner, and I mean, from a Hibs point of view, if you're the Hibs manager, you are raging first of all about your clobber, and secondly about that defending, because he gets the wrong side, I don't even know who it was, pulls him down, stonewall penalty, and for I think the second penalty in a row after at St Mirren, awful penalty for Jota. David Marshall, who was having a great game, somehow lets it in. The whole stadium seemed to go kind of like, oh yes, it was amazing.
It was actually such a similar penalty as well. It was at that same side, wasn't it? And I was
got to save that.
A keeper has, man.
Delighted he didn't he?
You'll be glad to. I mean, you can imagine what my reaction was like with that penalty. Just total relief when we scored, and when we did, I did say in that chat before I chucked it in the huff, that we really had to score before 60 minutes. We did, and when we got the equaliser, I was sure we'd go on and win after that. Even I have that amount of faith in this Celtic team, but it was so crucial that we got that goal, it really was.
Who stood up for us at that point in the second half? Who impressed? I mean, for me, Jota was really good.
Honestly, I hate just agreeing with you there, but Jota really was the man for us in that second half. Driving at Hibs, he went back on the left hand side as well. He was just constantly driving at them as well.
He did that in the St Mirren away game as well. He's a hell of a player for because it was I thought first half shot, a couple of crosses that he put out for a goal kick. Fans were just a wee bit frustrated. He was clearly getting frustrated, but that second half, to step up, score the penalty, and then just to really take the responsibility, on his shoulders. I really thought he did.
Similar reaction to when they scored that goal against St Mirren as well, because it wasn't just a case of celebrating and all that. He was really just looking for the fans to get up for it and saying, no, this is as good as this is, we need another. And I think the fans reacted to that, because after that, the atmosphere was far better, and a lot of people, including myself, were getting right behind the team after that. The nervous energy seemed to turn into more sort of excitement, more anticipation, which was good, and the players seemed to feed off it as well.
Yeah. I mean, again, just a feeling for me in that second half, as is so often the case with this Celtic team, and it's an incredible compliment of inevitability, like total inevitability that we would win that game. I really didn't think it was that bang out, to be honest, but I genuinely no doubts at any point in that game that we were going to even drop points there. And you're talking, I mean, I think the winner goes in maybe after 75 minutes, so you're talking, not long to go. As we say, the goal comes from another corner. It's David Turnbull again, swings it in from the right hand side, and time seemed to stop, because I don't know what Hibs are doing in the middle, but suddenly you're like, O's onto this, and he throws himself at the ball and heads it in and rips his top off. I'm not going to do it, because you really don't want to see that. Stevie's now going to demonstrate what O did.
No, he's not. But he will certainly say well done to O, because it was a great impact sub, and that's again just like the St Mirren game, just like the Hearts game as well. That's been the substitutes have played such a huge role for us, haven't they? And
two more scored today.
Two today, yeah, because you were looking for that today from O, because it wasn't really quite coming off for Kyogo. Listen, Kyogo's been outstanding for us in recent weeks. You even look at the final and all that before it, and Kyogo has been the talisman for us. But if it's not working for him, you have to have another option, and O was excellent in that respect today. He did exactly what we needed him to do, really.
I just like how he gets stuck in it. Kyogo was dropping a bit deeper today at times.
I noticed that as well.
3 or 4 times he was picking the ball up at the halfway line, almost as if he'd been instructed to do that by Ange. Certainly when O came on, always kind of playing off the left a wee bit, wasn't he? But I just loved that header. The celebration is amazing. 3 goals he scored now, which I would say is pretty decent. Given he only came to the club, he scored 2 against St Mirren, 1 in the cup, and 1 today.
That's his first league goal now, isn't it?
No, he scored at St Mirren away as well. Penalty.
That's me away.
Great header, great celebrations. I mean, I turned round and like not everyone, but virtually everyone was up doing that. Oh.
Oh, that one! I thought you meant the 7 Nation Army one.
I know. I think I started with that, but a magic goal and a big one for him. And then from that point, I think everyone in the stadium at that stage is kind of thinking we're home and done. But we get 7 minutes added on in the second half, just enough time for Haksabanovic to rattle one in. Before that, actually, we had a penalty given, and then VAR took it away. It was a Bada. I think he looked to be taken out by Marshall, but I'm going to again assume that VAR knew what they were doing.
I know he did that because I think he tried to go around Marshall, didn't he?
Did great to win the ball, but he had
so well. He had lifted it over.
He had O up as well with him.
Yeah, but I think there was a couple. I mean, he did so well there, and see before that as well, there was a run that Jota made was outstanding at one point. I think it was at 1 each, and he gets taken out. I think they cleared it off the line, didn't they?
Yes.
One like that, and then Haksabanovic. So there was moments where 3 up players.
It was a really good ball for Turnbull to Kyogo for that when he chipped over the keeper.
And then we had Haksabanovic at the end when he get taken out as well, didn't he? But we had a lot of players today, like really, like holding on to the ball, but driving at players and actually, not being scared to take them on and have a bit of responsibility. So that was good. And fair play to Abada for, as you say, winning it and driving on. But just wish he had the composure to think it over like he did in the Dundee United game against Marshall, and sets us off a wee bit earlier than that. But no, I mean, Haksabanovic, what a finish that was to kill the game off.
He's just brilliant. I mean, we have a star in the making there. Not just the goal today. I genuinely think if he hadn't scored that goal, I'd still be, enthused about his performance. He came on, he just takes care of the ball so well. He's so skillful to the extent where he might be even better at Jota than Jota at running at players with the ball at his feet. I just think the way the ball's almost stuck to his feet at times, he's really good. He doesn't hold on to the ball for too long either. He knocks it off, runs on, gets it back, and I just think he's kind of the epitome of this team at the moment, in that he doesn't start many games. I think Tynecastle was his first start in God knows how long, but he tends to come on. He came on, maybe only got 20 minutes today, comes on, scores again. It was one of those, just like the one against Hearts, the minute he cut in, you knew he was tucking that away, and I think that's 3 goals he's had like that. He had one in the Ross County game and Hearts and Hibs, and he's kind of getting a bit of a trademark for that kind of Sinclair or Thierry Henry type finish into the.
Robin, you said that was a
Robin's
comparison.
the other side though.
Only was right footed actually, wasn't he? I'm having a nightmare on this today. I haven't even feeling well recently, to be fair, so there is that. But talk about the cut inside, and that was what I was meaning. All right, God's sake, but
it just opened up for him.
Yeah, I think it was a very impressive finish again, especially for David Marshall, who's not a mug from that distance as well. No, about Haksabanovic, honestly, the attitude that he's shown every time he's been playing as well, it's one thing that it's been noted, isn't it, that doesn't he sulk, just gets on with it, and he's always looking to contribute time and time again, and again, that does him no harm at all when it comes to starting at Ross County after the break. Yeah,
I mean, for me, that's his next big step, is to become a player who can do that from the start. Now, I'm not saying he can't do that, because I think we've seen evidence of him scoring goals when he started games already, but he just looks great coming off the bench. That's what I want to see from him after the break, because there's no reason why he can't. As I said after the Hearts game, with you, I can't talk highly enough of him. I really think he's a player. Every time I see him, he looks like making something happen.
But then see if he doesn't, we've got players that can come off the bench and do it, and that's what it's all about, isn't it, too? Like Kyogo today, for example, didn't, but he's done it so often in the past, then O can come in and do it. You'd expect Kyogo to pick up again very soon anyway, but that's it. So as long as there's somebody else there ready to contribute, then fair play, because they're going to have off days as well. It's just important that we've got a squad hungry and basically able to do what the starting players can't.
Yeah. Anything else for the game? I mean, Hibs had a bit of time wasting. It was quite frustrating, but I guess that's nothing new. And we probably could record a bit and just play it during every reaction of opposition teams time wasting here. Well, they were really physical today, Hibs.
They were, but I will have to say to them, now a lot of opposition teams that come to Celtic Park get a major reaction out of me, and I don't give them a lot of credit. But about 93 minutes on the clock today, we pressed Hibs pretty aggressively, and they still held on to the ball, to the point where within about 5 seconds or so they get into our half just with playing decent football. And I alright, I think
it's still 2-1 at that stage.
It was 2-1 at that stage, and CCV, and it was actually, they didn't blutter it. They held on to the ball, they were very composed, and with a ball over the top, which CCV cleared with a cross. And alright, don't get me wrong, I wasn't exactly applauding it, going well done or anything, but see, after that I was like, I mean, it was refreshing to see a bit of football being played at that point rather than just like hoofball tactics.
I think it would have been interesting to see what it would have been like 11v11. Listen, I think Celtic would still have won, but I mean that's a few games now when the opposition teams have gone down to 10 men, and obviously look at it, it suits us, it's great, but sometimes I think it's almost easier when teams come out and play. To be fair, maybe Hibs weren't as adventurous today, even with 11 men, as they were the last time they came here, and obviously Easter Road. I think they were a bit more resolute, more defensive. I think they were trying the kind of the dark arts, if you will, of slowing the play down, being really physical. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been maybe a slightly better game if it had been 11v11, maybe a bit more space for us to go into. Because effectively, from when they went down to 10 men, it was like every one of their players in the final third, and it was just a very similar to St Mirren game, just a case of us having to break them down. And again, we did it. I just repeat everything I say about this team. I just love watching this team. I love their relentless attitude. It's another victory. We have now gone an entire run of fixtures since the coming back from the World Cup. I don't know, 20 odd fixtures with positive results in every single one of them. We've won every game bar one, the other one being a draw at Ibrox, which is a good result. We've won the League Cup. We're still 9 points clear, remarkably, and we're looking good for the league title. I mean, everyone in there thinks Celtic are going to win the league title. That's no secret. But we can now pause for a couple of weeks and know that all is well in not in the world, but in the Celtic world.
I think I need it after the day, a wee bit of a break. No, we do. I think the attitude and the consistency that this team have shown has been incredible since that World Cup. It's all down to the manager, and the recruitment has been spot on as well. It really has, and the way that the new signings have settled into has been seamless. And they deserve all the plaudits that they get from the majority of fans. They really do, including myself. But they maybe don't deserve the criticism that they got at half time today. But I'll try and sort my attitude out for getting into the last 8 or 9 games of the season, I guess.
Yeah. He gets very worked up, but that's why we love him. He's a proper fan. And that's the emotions fans go through.
I can apologise to the channel there. I have had a proper nightmare. But look, as I say, I've not been well. End of.
You don't need to apologise to them. You need to apologise to me. I'm
Never.
the one who had to deal with it at half time.
Never.
Right, we're going to say goodbye. Videos will keep coming throughout the international break. We'll maybe change things up a wee bit. And yeah, a couple of weeks to go, only a couple of weeks. Listen, we did the World Cup, that was 4 or 5 weeks without Celtic, so a couple of weeks should be easy enough. We're back on, I think, the 2nd of April at Ross County with another chance to just get another 3 points and move closer to the league title. Thank you everyone for watching, hope you enjoyed the game, and we'll speak to you soon.